will it look like for your idea? So we're really looking for new ideas, and they can be at the idea stage. We're really looking for people who are creative. So we're looking for new solutions. We're looking for people who are thinking about ways to collaborate with other, either organizations or other people in the city. We're definitely prioritizing diversity, both in applicants, but also in the communities or the type of services that they provide. And we are open to for-profit or nonprofit ideas. So it doesn't have to be a nonprofit. It could be a business that supports health. So we're open in models, too. So really flexible in format, but open.
Yes, I love it. All right. So once again, because we got to get ready to let you go, but once again, for folks who are hearing this and saying, you know what, either I know someone or that someone is me, how can they apply? Where should they head to again?
Yes, so go to economyleague.org/WellCity for more information on the challenge and also the link to apply. And the deadline is November 20th, so next Friday.
Oh, November 20th, next Friday. Mark your calendars. This is not the last time you will hear about the Well City Challenge. We will continue to make sure this is on your radar. Our shows on Wednesday, right? The Safe Space Show on Wednesday is brought to you by the Well City Challenge. So just continue to make sure you do your part to get the word out. We are doing ours. This is a great opportunity for the creatives and the innovators and the entrepreneurs out there who really have a heart and passion for not only just the health of millennials, but for mental health in general. So let's get it done, folks. We're all about solutions over here. Chelsea Lowe, thank you so much for choosing to save space with us today.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You do the same. All right, loves, we are taking a quick break. The phone lines are open, 215-634-8065, toll free 866-361-0900. Curious to know, how have you been taking care of yourself in the midst of this pandemic and the election? How have you been prioritizing your health? Keep it 100 with me, y'all. Call in, let me know. Again, 215-634-8065, toll free 866-361-0900. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita. It's 42 after the hour, and we will be back after these messages.
Seniors, does your doctor regularly reach out to check on you? Can you walk into your doctor's office and see them if you need to? Do you have your doctor's cell phone number, and can you call them anytime, day or night? At Dedicated Senior Medical Center, their only specialty is caring for seniors. Dedicated makes it easy to get the primary care you deserve. Doctors spend more time with patients than the doctors you may be used to. They offer telehealth visits, help you get your medications, and even make sure you get to your appointments. If your doctor isn't treating you like family, it's time to say yes to Dedicated Senior Medical Center. Call Dedicated Senior Medical Center today to schedule a visit and find out what you're missing. Call 267-443-1900. That's 267-443-1900. Appointments are available now.
PECO is here to help this winter. With LIHEAP, you can get up to a $1,000 cash grant towards your PECO bill. You don't have to be behind on your bill to qualify, and you'll never have to pay it back. Even a family of 4 with an annual income of $40,000 is eligible. So don't count yourself out. This deal is first come, first served, so apply now at PECO.com/LIHEAP or call 800-34-HELP4. That's 800-34-HELP4.
He's back.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
In times like these, we have to stay connected.
At a brand new time, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
I'm excited that Keeping It Real returns to WURD.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight. This program is pre-recorded. No phone calls, please.
Keep it locked to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM, WURDradio.com.
Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. Sincerely Sarita. Right now on WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
I gotta move on. It's time. yeah. I gotta move on. Seems like I'm moving forward, but sometimes I keep looking back. Gotta struggle for what's ahead, just like my pastor said. But every time I turn around, I wonder if they'll hold me down, just like it used to be. But were they really there like they could have been? Cause as I'm thinking now, where were you back when I was falling low, when I needed you the most? It's time for me to move on, yeah. Time for me to get out of my comfort. That won't happen if I stay with you. Time for me to let this go. It's time for me to evolve, you know. I gotta move on. It's time to evolve, yeah. I gotta move on. You won't stop my shine, no, no. You won't stop.
You are back listening to Safe Space. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita. Got a couple questions on the table. Would love to hear from you. First and foremost, we were just talking about health and mental health wellness. Again, shout out to the Economy League of Greater Philadelphia and Chelsea Lowe, who called in to give us the 411 on the Well City Challenge. If you want to learn more about that, you can head to wordradio.com and just look for the Well City Challenge banner. Click that. It'll take you where you need to go and tell you everything you need to know. Okay. So that's that. But yeah, in light of that conversation, just curious about how you have been taking care of yourself in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of an election, in the midst of civil unrest and uprising and a year of reckoning. How have you even been prioritizing your health and self-care? I know for me, that really didn't kick in probably until about September. That's when I got back on my ish, y'all. I had, reached out to my trainer, my former personal trainer, Tommy Knight, over at Knight's Gym, and was like, we are back in this. Like, I can't keep going the way I'm going. And so since starting, I'm now dropped 17 pounds. I can't even say staying consistent. I guess, yes, overall it's been consistent, but I could have did better. I got to keep it 100. I could have did better. But nonetheless, I'm proud of the progress, right? And the fact that I lost that quarantine weight, because it was real and it was heavy. It was heavy carrying it around, still heavy, carrying this around. But it's about the health and wellness, right? And I'm starting to really see progress. It's not even just about what's on a scale. It's about, noticing how I can move more quickly. I'm more agile. There were exercises where I used to have to do them modified. I don't have to do them modified anymore. So it's the little things like that that are really keeping me motivated, right? And that I'm really appreciative to myself and to Babe for being an accountability partner, and to my trainer for staying on top of me, but also to God, for that promise and that confidence that, when a good thing is started in you, it will surely finish. And this is something that will surely be successfully finished. So it took a while to get to that place. And I recognize a lot of the challenges that stood in the way. And I want to know, I want us to have that real conversation about how you have been taking care of yourself, whether you've really been prioritizing yourself in your health and wellness or not. Let's be honest about that. So call in, let me know, 215-634-8065, toll free 866-361-0900. And then, of course, the election, wanting to know how you're feeling about the Biden-Harris election win. So you can use those same numbers to call in on those topics. All right. So let's go to line one. We have Spread Love. Hey, brother, what's going on? Thank you so much for choosing a safe space with us today.
John Blessed, John is love, manners and respect. Empress Sincerely Sarita, how are you doing this evening?
Listen, I have no complaints, only thanks. That's it.
Give thanks. Give John glory. Congratulations on your health accomplishments.
Thank
you. Banging. And may they continue.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
More love, of course. And, of course, God bless Empress Kayla J on the board. Always doing an amazing job. And, all the listeners, WRD family, as always, all the victims, and everybody incarcerated, because they're listening too. All our hearts, thoughts, prayers are with them, and everyone working to make it better. And, we still say everybody help somebody, don't nobody, hurt nobody, don't nobody harm nobody. And I could talk about my mental health in a minute, but as many times as I called in, you could probably assess it better than I could. But I was going to make a true, genuine, heartfelt apology for the brother, to you, your show, the listeners. Brother, was his name, if I'm not mistaken, Samuel White, Walter Wallace's family that came on last week.
Yeah.
When you had me on right before them, and I posted a joke. But what he brought to us in our community is no laughing matter. And I'm never facetious. And it's, if when I come across as inconsiderate or inappropriate, that breaks my heart. So I wanted to give a formal, heartfelt apology to you and everyone. It's a tragic loss we suffer in this situation. May we always take them serious and to heart so that we can also helpfully provide comfort to everyone still going through them things. I'm sorry if that's taking it off topic, but I wanted to do that. I apologize.
No, and appreciate, you and your self-awareness of that. I have to be honest, in that moment, I didn't even realize that's how it came off, at least for you. We had a couple of different conversations and we're getting ready to welcome him. So, just even that self-accountability on your part, I mean, I just praise and appreciate that.
Well, give God the glory, Empress. It's all, I like to see us all chilling, never stressed out. That's how they win. They get us stressed out.
Listen, we don't need no more of that. We don't need that.
Captivation can lead to captivity. I was going to ask, too, real quick, I need your help, because he works with the Philadelphia Anti-Violence, Anti-Drug Network. Is that correct? Called PAAN?
Yes. PAAN, so the Philadelphia Anti-Drug, Anti-Violence Network. And their website is PAAN1989.org.
Thank you. And the reason I ask is I saw a glimpse on a documentary of an empress who I believe may have even been on WURD. I can't remember her name now, but she's linked with RJOY, Restorative Justice for Oakland Youth. And they have an amazing program. I was going to see if you could help us link her with him or that program with his program, because if they're not already working together, I think they could get some amazing things accomplished. You see what I'm saying? Wow.
Okay. So, yeah, I just Googled them, and I will definitely pass that along to him and let him know that you recommended it.
I promise me and none, just as long. The work got to get done for our people. And it just came to me because she was killing it on stage. And also, I was at the supermarket coming back last Friday night, and Young John just popped up out of nowhere at the bus stop, but then asked me if I had loose change. I had no loose bills. She was telling me she's trying to get down to 27th of Allegheny. I was out at the joint behind the reservoir in Winfield. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I wanted to help her. I told her, all right, well, hold on. I'll run right back to the supermarket, get some loose change, and come back. But the bus pulled up, so she had to get on the bus. Now, thankfully, I had tokens on me, a couple tokens left. I'm old school. So I gave her the tokens, right? So she could get on the bus and get to where she got to. But I was like, man, there must be more that can be done for anyone jammed up in a situation. Because Young John, she couldn't have been no more than 20, but really more like 16, you know what I mean? And I'm just wondering what you're doing out here, unable to get to where you got to get to. What happened? I ain't trying to talk to her too much, because if it is something serious, that's weighing her down, and I ain't bringing that up. You know what I mean? But, and I ain't trying to get too deep with it no way. These streets is different now. But I was thinking an organization that exists where I could say, you need help, call this number. And these people can help you.
With transportation.
Not just transportation, whatever. She might be going to she might be returning someplace she'd rather escape. You see what I'm saying? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
Got you. I appreciate that. And Loves, if you know of any organizations that you think we need to make sure we, as a WURD family, that we are aware of in terms of services that they provide to community members in need, whether it's transportation, housing, income, jobs, opportunities, education, please feel free to call in right now and shout them out and share the number. appreciate you, Spread Love, for opening the door for this kind of engagement to happen. So, yeah, if you got some organizations that you know of, they're credible, they're about that work, they really have a heart for a community, they have a record that we can look up, about the work that they're doing, a website that we can head to, please do call in and shout them out. 215-634-8065. Toll free 866-361-0900, and make sure they know about WURD Radio, right? Because not only would we love to learn more about them and potentially have them on one of our programs, but we also have a business forward membership that they might be able to benefit from, given the services that they do, the services they provide and the work that they do. So we got a few different ways that, we would love to continue building bridges within our community to ensure that we are saving ourselves and we are helping one another as much as we potentially can, right? So I want to take one more call before we go to break. Let's go to Rosalind on line 2. Hey, Miss Rosalind, how are you? And thank you for choosing a safe space with us today.
I love y'all.
We love you as well.
The new beginning, a new president, vice president. I said, won't God do it? I said, won't he do it? and I told Mother Angela, what's her name? Andre, I said, I need somebody to help me with my computer and everything. They still want to keep me in the dark. I said, well, where's that bipolar schizophrenic at now? Hey, now nothing.
Listen. Now, as long as you know and you are up to date on what the news is, right? That's what matters.
So good.
Yeah, I'm glad that you are feeling good.
Ain't no clothes, ain't no platform. It's just the love we have for people. They can't touch this. We're too powerful.
Got you.
Listen. It's on the walls, it's on the ground, it's everywhere. And please, humanize that White House. I wouldn't even go up there.
Well, listen, we appreciate you. We appreciate you, Ms. Rosalind, for calling in, for sharing a bit of your reaction to the election win, right, of the Biden-Harris ticket. Loves, the phone lines are still open. Carlos, I see you on line 3, so stand by. We'll get to you after the break. But, yeah, let me know how you're feeling about that election win with Biden and Harris. All right, this is Safe Space. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita. We're coming up on our 8 p.m. hour, getting ready to welcome, of course, our friend and licensed financial professional, Joanna Jane. So you don't want to go anywhere. It's time to talk coins of compensation and so much more. All right, this is Safe Space. I am your host, Sincerely Sarita. This is WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. We'll be back after these messages.
Hey, WURD family. Our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, kind of work people more than 8 hours without overtime, kind of work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
WURD Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. Many of us have heard this term before, but may not know what it really means. Compassionate living brings mindfulness and peace to the center of your daily life. Compassionate living can look like this. Number 1, be gentle with yourself and those around you. Number 2, choose to speak kindly to others, even when you're upset. Number 3, become a good listener and practice empathy at home and at work. We sometimes think in order to live with compassion, we have to become someone else. Not so. In fact, allowing peacefulness to be at the center of our daily interactions is something we can practice every day. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with WURD. Happy living.
Stay well with WURD. Connect with us at wordradio.com. A new president. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris pull ahead in Pennsylvania and win the presidency. We want to hear your reactions. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live on wordradio.com, the WURD Radio app, and watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media. Grab your mic. It's time for Kayla J's Karaoke Song of the Day.
I am me, black. You are you, black power. We are black, beautiful. I am me, black. You are you, we are black, stay beautiful. I'm not the ordinary girl, eyebrows not on fleek. I'm not the curviest girl, I'm quite petite. I said quite, not quiet. Don't hold my tongue to speak between bumptious and the silver lining in my mouth. I'm quick to say cheese and riot then unleash like a fro after transitioning days. I never had a perm straight, ends had to go straying like a fro. I am bold, I will remain and I just crave to be myself, cause I am worth more than gold. Now why extinguish thyself when you withhold a first class essence for your presence is a blessing. Know that negative mentality gotta get to stepping, it gotta get to stepping. So stump it, squish it, it's an bug. Take a glass of positivity, it's time to chug and ride the train. Be the conductor, lead the way, be the learner and the instructor.
Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. Sincerely Sarita. Right now on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
Need money. Need money. Talking about money, money, money. We need some money. We need the moolah, y'all. Got to get money.
Now, I know you better be shoulder shimmy into it. You are back listening to Save Space. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita. We're getting ready to welcome our Safe Space friend and licensed financial professional, Joanna Jane, for Coins and Conversation. We are talking about coins in the new year. I want to hear your goals that you're setting for 2021, right? Your intentions that you're setting for 2021 when it comes to your finances. So call in, share that a little bit. I mean, you ain't got to give me the rundown of your bills and your expenses and all that. But if there is a financial goal that you have, maybe an area or topic that you want to learn a little bit more about, so that you can, if you're looking for, opportunities to learn more, trying to figure out who maybe you should be following on social or whatever else the case may be, call in. You never know who may have the answer that you're looking for, right? So the number again, 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free, 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. I asked earlier how you all are feeling about, the Biden-Harris election win. and also how you're taking care of yourself in the midst of all of this, right, in terms of your mental health wellness, your physical health, so on and so forth. Shout out to Jocelyn. She said, I live with boundaries, so I protect my peace by watching who I allow in my space and information I ingest. I know that's right. Malcolm said, had a flu shot today. So it sounds like that was a form of self-care for him. Thank you. He said, good for you on your weight loss. Listen, I'm out here in these streets trying. Yeah, I'm not even going to say I'm trying. I'm getting it done, and we're going to keep getting it done. In regards to the election, though, Malcolm said there is a sense of relief right now. And over on Instagram, Juliana Daniela echoed that. She said she feels relieved and hopeful. She said she felt a sense of freedom restored. And so feel free to, again, call in and chime in on either of those questions. But I want to go ahead and hear from Carlos on line 3, and then we're getting into our convo with Joanna Jane. So, Carlos, hey, how are you doing? And thank you for choosing to share safe space with us today. What's going on? Did we lose you? Did we lose you? You there? Hey, what's going on?
No, anyway, yeah. Like I said, I feel like singing, shouting, hallelujah, Jesus. Hey, I'm surprised. Hey, here we go again. First it was Barack Obama, now her. Oh, boy. It's like the past is repeating itself.
Hopefully it's all good.
You mean tell me Donald Trump he's sending now, what's that crook name? Giuliani coming to Philadelphia to count the votes all over again? That's what I'm hearing. Trying to count the votes all over again. Then Philly, Nevada, Georgia, they saying, oh, my God, it's going to turn out to be the same thing. Come on now, come on. See, this stuff done came back and bit him in the, you know what, excuse me, but bit him in his behind. See? The old folks used to say, you reap what you sow, right?
That, you took the words out of my mouth. Mm-hmm.
Listen. You see, when I heard that, I said, "Oh my God!" I was on the I was going to the Boy Scouts, right on the I think I was on the direct bus. I said, "What?" People thought I was crazy. I did a little shout on the bus.
Right there on the bus, wherever you was at. And Loves, feel free to call in, because I definitely would love to hear, where you were at. And I think it might, for a lot of us, it might end up being one of those moments, right? Like where you were at. I know for a lot of folks, you can remember where you were at when you got the news that Barack Obama had won the presidency, right? I think this is going to be one of those moments as well. And so I would love to hear your stories about where you were at, how you reacted, what the atmosphere was like, in the space that you were in. So, yeah, again, call in 215-634-8065, toll free 866-361-0900. But Joanna Jane, hey, girl, hey, how are you doing?
So just wanted to say shout out to all the beautiful ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, hashtag because my soror is the VP. So, I had to just get all jobs up for today. We took over the art museum yesterday, and we strolled and stuff. So I just had to make sure I was right and festive for today. I had to be prepared because hashtag because my soror is the VP. That's how I'm feeling today.
When this happened, I said, listen, we ain't gonna be able to tell AKAs nothing, y'all. Okay, nothing. No. If you can't see Joanna Jane. Listen, if you can't see Joanna Jane, it sucks for you. You gotta head over to Facebook Live or YouTube, because sis is decked out. She's repping AKA all the way. Okay. Yes. We actually had one of your sorors on. I'm not sure if you know her personally, but Sophia Nelson. She's a pundit for CNN. She contributes as well. She's a columnist for USA Today and The Daily Beast, but she was on and she was repping too. So I've been seeing y'all out here.
Yes, I'm proud. I'm proud of all of them. I had to make I made a post the other day. I think it was yesterday when I said, they asked, what do AKs do? And then my response was, we just rebuild communities and run nations and cities and stuff. That's what we do. That's just, what we do. And we give really good wealth tips, and that's what we're going to get into today.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, really, really excited about having this conversation. And I think just as we saw the nation come together for their voices to be heard. Let's just start there. Forget about whoever you decided to vote for, right? You made your voice be heard. This was not an easy win, right? People went out and they made their voices be heard. And this is the same thing that you have to do with being intentional. I think people are being woke, as they would say. So be woke also in your finances. Let us not stop with this election. We need to continue on, and even more so being wise in your financial stewardship. So now you should also be looking at your finances differently. Also taking that same energy and saying, hey, the same way, I dealt with all the text messages and phone calls reminding me to vote. Yes, that was a lot. Is the same way that you should say, you know what, let's be consistent in our finances as we go into 2021, because this pandemic has checked a number of people to say, wait a minute, I either was playing games and I did not save at all, or maybe I could have actually done a little bit better. Like whatever your situation is, there's always room to grow. And we're having this conversation, Sarita, because I wanted us to start talking about this before the holidays really hit, because this is where we can get, we can get off track. And especially because we had the majority of the year in the house, really not engaging, and people are now starting to test the waters and, engage with other people. Still be mindful of your finances. The numbers are creeping back up. We don't know how things are going to be over the next couple months. So one of my very first tips is that if you have not done this earlier in the year through some of the benefits that came through the pandemic relief funds, please make sure that you have established your emergency fund. Make sure that you have established your emergency fund, having that conversation with your family, talking about, how we may be doing the holidays differently. We had that conversation, Sarita, a couple shows back, and just different ways that you can be unique, with how you're engaging gifts, how you're decorating, because you do need to be very mindful more than ever, about your emergency finances. Before it was like, well, if the car breaks down, or, if this, or if I lose my job. Now the stuff is so real in your face, because of everything that's happening. So first tip, go ahead and fund that emergency fund. I always tell people, depending on your family size and depending on what you can do, if you can fund it with $1,000, that's great. It's a great start, because you have to think about the average emergency is somewhere around $1,000. If you think about when your car breaks down, your deductible, all those different things, it starts around that number. And if you have children, it can be higher.
Love them to death. But you gotta, that money, you need money. Okay? Money.
Yes. So
no, but that's good. That's number one. Establish the emergency fund. Right. The average that's recommended is at least $1,000, and then be mindful to discuss how you're doing the holidays differently. And I know I'm just adding this on. I know many of us are excited about the prospects of the Biden-Harris administration and what that's going to mean or could mean for the handling of the coronavirus pandemic here in the States. But that doesn't change the fact that right now we are still in the midst of a surge, right? And we don't know how that newly formed coronavirus task force by Biden, what their outcomes are going to be, what their decisions are going to be, whether that may mean another shutdown or what. And so, shout out to Joanna Jane reminding us of that need to establish an emergency fund, because we are not out of the woods by any measure.
No, not at all. One of the other things that you can be doing to help fund that emergency fund is having a no spend day. I saw this online and I said, ooh, I really do like that. And I think because, we have been trapped in our homes for months, we can actually do this now. Like, you can have a couple of days a month where you say, I'm not spending any money outside of my household. I'm cooking from home. I'm making my lunch from home, and doing those things a couple times a month or a couple times a week, that does add up. You'll be surprised. Like, what if we actually didn't go out for movie night and we just played games at home? If we took it back a little, quote unquote, old school, you probably find yourself saving a couple dollars. So I would say one of the ways that you could see how much money you could possibly save by having a no spend day is look at some of your credit cards, your debit card statements over the last maybe 1 or 2 months and see how much money you spent outside of your household, including if you did any online shopping, because that still does count.
Dang, you got me. Because I'm like, I did majority of my shopping right on my couch. Me and Kayla J, right in our chair, or on the bed, just got all my stuff. No, it's funny because as you were talking, I'm not gonna lie, I was wrestling with them myself about doing that. I'm like I know I've done it. I didn't necessarily plan it or think about it, but I think it's also for some of us been I don't want to say the opposite, but it's like, all right, you had this period where you couldn't go out and you for the most part really couldn't spend like that. And yes, the coronavirus has definitely impacted folks in a negative way in terms of finances. But the truth of the matter is it also has brought an abundance, right, to some folks. And they see an increase in their income. And with that came an increase in maybe, again, online shopping and doing some other things. So some of us, we're going to have to reel it in and tone down on the spending because these deals out here are crazy.
I know, it definitely is. So as you have your no spend days, as you have your strategies to start to fund your emergency account, then the next thing is you want to do is put the ice on the cake by actually increasing your automatic saving opportunities. There's a number of apps out here, and shame on me, I think I was probably still a little bit on the high from yesterday, and I don't have the apps, but I will definitely have the apps for you next week. Or actually, Sarita, I'll probably just text them to you, and you can share with them tomorrow, maybe hopefully at the top of the show, some really great apps that you can use that help you with automatic savings. I'm still a little old school where I have it set from my app on my phone, right from my bank account. But for some people that may not feel comfortable using their bank account, there's all types of non-traditional banking systems, I would call them, like Chime and so forth, that helps you become an automatic saver. So there's a number of accounts out there, or I should say apps, that you can use that help you do automatic investing. Robinhood is one of them. Now they're starting to come to my mind. Robinhood is one of them that you can put on auto for your investing, and you can do your auto savings from your regular bank account if you would like as well. And I know like Chase has an app, Citizens have an app. A number of these banking institutions have apps where you can make things very, very easy. And I believe that when your savings is on auto, that's one less thing that you have to think about. So it's just like if you have your gas, your electric, and your water bill on auto payment, although sometimes around the winter time in Philly, y'all can get a little shady sometimes, Pico. I'm just saying, like, sometimes we get these surprise bills and it throws us off. But for those that have our utilities on auto, think the same way with your savings. So just as you're taking care of your household responsibilities, you're also making sure that you're paying yourself first at the same time, which is a financial strategy to always make sure that you take care of home first before you start shelling out a lot of bills. As we saw throughout the pandemic, bills can always be up for discussion in terms of when they're due, how much you can pay, can you put it on hold? But always taking care of home, like, that's a big, big deal. You can work things out with everybody else, but you may not always be able to work out, like, how are we going to eat tonight? How are we going to actually, take care? How are we going to keep the water on? Like, those are necessities. And that's something I want people to think about in this season. So if you're thinking of, well, how can I save? And how can I do this? We're in a pandemic. I lost my job. Again, go back to your bill subscribers. Go back to your providers and say, this is what my situation is. I have not regained employment yet, or I did regain employment, but it's significantly lower than what I was making before. How can I still have some type of arrangement? At the same time, fund that emergency fund, put some savings in place, because as you stated earlier, Sarita, right now we're in president and VP elect season. We don't know how things are going to happen after the hands change formally and things of that nature. So we have to operate with wisdom as we go through this season.
Got you. And just since we're talking about, you being mindful of those kinds of conversations that you may need to have, the Philadelphia Municipal Court has paused most evictions through the end of 2020. And so that will protect renters who are unable to pay rent or utilities at a time of record unemployment and financial strain due to the coronavirus pandemic. So, be sure that you check out you know, what options are available to you, so that you can really, you know, best position yourself for 2021 to be able to take off running, or to just sustain at bare minimum, right? I know Kayla J mentioned we had a caller who asked, you know, what about the broke people who are waiting for a spend day? You know, we talk about a no spend day. We got folks that's waiting for a spend day. So to that, I'm gonna say, let's make sure that emergency fund is fully funded, right, before we go. You know what I mean? Just tossing that money, making it rain. But Joanna J, what are what is your thought when it comes to those of us who, you know, money is tight, and we do want to do something nice for ourselves. What we do, because it'd be hard.
You know, it's a real reality that, yes, we do want to be able to take care of ourselves. We want to feel good, but you have to take a step back for a moment and say, why do I still want, what is it that's driving the feel good if I know that I'm quote unquote broke? I'm sorry, I have to put it that way. Like, what is it? Is it the teasing from what we see on our timeline? Is it seeing the fact that our best friend got a car and we still driving the hoopty? Like, what is it that's driving that? Because the more that if you are legit in your thought process, or in reality that you have no money, why would you want to then go take a credit card and charge it up for a spa treatment, or for the latest shoes, or for a bag? That means you're trying to satisfy something else internally. It's not on the outside. So I would tell you to start there. And there are things that you can do at home. Let me be honest. Every other week, Haley goes with her dad in Delaware. And I enjoy the peace that passes all understanding in this apartment when she's not here. You know, I'm being honest. And I know moms and dads out there can feel me when you get a break, you know, from your kids. And sometimes that may include putting some music on, you know, you take a nice bath, whatever it may be for you. Like
thoroughly clean.
Yeah, you know, whatever that works for you. You know, if you're that type of person and you enjoy a bottle of wine from time to time, go and get a bottle of wine that's less than $15, get a glass, and enjoy yourself at home, where you're not spending as much money, and you're also not crazy charging up your credit cards that come 30 days from now is going to be facing you like, hello, are you going to pay me?
Not that face, though, because that's exactly how we be looking when that bill come through.
Yes.
No, but the phone lines are open. If you have questions, if you're looking for techniques, tips, or tools for how you can really, and we mean really, truly position yourself for prosperity, for stability, right? Financial stability in 2021. Call in, right? We talking about New Year, hopefully for you, new coins. But if it's New Year, same coins, then it's all about them adding up. Right? It's all about you having them in your possession. So the number to call in, 215-634-8065. Again, that's 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free, 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. Shout out to Walter, tuned in over on WURD TV. He said, great knowledge tonight as always, because where there is knowledge, there is power. Oh, yes. Come through with that word real quick, real simple, like just dropped it like that. Anywho, we got to get ready to take a quick break. I'm your host, Sincerely Sabrina. This is Safe Space, and we'll be back for Coins and Conversation with Joanna Jane.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
Jefferson Health offers no-cost COVID-19 testing at St. Raymond of Pinafort Church. Testing is on Thursdays and Saturdays. For testing hours and more information, visit jeffersonhealth.org/community testing.
Livelihood, the new initiative from WURD Radio, connecting Philadelphians to jobs, entrepreneurship opportunities, small business resources, and financial literacy. Visit WURDworks.com right now and take the next step in your professional journey.
Work, 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 work
Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
He's back.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton.
In times like these, we have to stay connected.
At a brand new time, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight.
I'm excited that Keeping It Real returns to WURD.
Keeping it real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. till midnight. This program is pre-recorded. No phone calls, please.
Keep it locked to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM, WURDradio.com.
Save Space with Sincerely Sarita.
Sincerely Sarita.
Right now on WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Independent Black Media.
Easy choice. I want to give you life.
Damn, I ain't been sleeping for weeks. Searching for my independence, manifested in weed. My old man, see he invested in me. Another penny in the world, so. Oh, brother, you don't need what I need. The thing you take for granted, that's a blessing to me. You don't see what I see. I run to work, run a marathon, and in the end I still come second to me. But it ain't too high to touch, and it ain't that deep to fall. See, faith won't pay the bills, but doubt won't save us all. We alright, we alright, we alright, we alright. We alright, we alright, we alright.
My granddad used to say, we could have been going left, but we alright. Yeah. Ooh, I could have really fell. I could have been in prison, could have been in hell. I could have been in heaven. I could have been on bail. I am from.
You are back listening to Save Space. I am your host, Sincerely Sarita. We are talking coins and conversation with friend to the show and licensed financial professional, Joanna Jane. But listen, we're talking about saving and all of that good stuff. I am definitely a believer in, when you do spend, being mindful about what you spend on, right? And investing in something that's quality. Right, something that's going to last, something that's going to give you a good ROI, a good return on investment. And I have to say, a WURD membership is just that, right? If you are not a WURD member, if it's time to renew your WURD membership, this message is for you because November, right? It's a little chilly. This weather been anything right now. I'm really enjoying this warmth that we've been getting. I'm soaking it all up. Not sure when it's about to change, but knowing that it's coming. It's officially sweatshirt season. And so just FYI, if you didn't know, when you start or renew your WURD membership using the code, you have to use the code SAVE SPACE, SAVE, SAVE SPACE. You'll receive a free WURD sweatshirt. It's valued at $35, right? And so it's a special we have running until November 16th. I really do not recommend that you drag your feet on this. I'm trying to let y'all know. I'm trying to give you game before you are, all out. Okay. So please make sure you head to wordradio.com/join now. Again, wordradio.com/join now to start or renew your WURD membership today. And, snag your free WURD sweatshirt stuff. Floss out these streets. Let them know who you representing. Anyhow, Joanna Jane, I ain't got no sense. We are back and we're talking coins and conversation, specifically coins in the new year. Thus far, I should say, we picked up two gems, actually more. 3 gems, establishing the importance of establishing an emergency fund, trying out a no spend day a couple of times a month where you do not spend, you don't purchase anything, whether it's online shopping right there in the comfort of your home or outside of your home, you don't purchase anything on that day. So trying that out and see how much money you're able to hold on to, how much longer you can hold on to some coins. And then also looking up or researching automatic savings apps And Joanna Jane has a few of those. One of the ones she mentioned, at least for auto investing, is Robinhood. Some of your banks or the bank that you use likely has some kind of auto saving service that is offered. But Joanna Jane's going to text me some additional apps. I'll make sure I share those with you on tomorrow's show so that you have that and can get the ball rolling, saving now for 2021, right? And so I think I brought us up to speed on the three that have been shared.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to share this last one, but it's really important. And I hope I have some time to also give a scenario of how this actually manifested in my life. And this is where I tell people, and I really want to actually just backtrack a little bit on that word that we used earlier called broke. Broke is a mindset. We are already wealthy. We just have to walk in it. We are not broke people. So I want to cancel that mindset right now. Your bank account may not reflect your billions that you have access to, but if you start walking by faith and start, putting these things that come to mind, like what if, I wonder, if you just start walking in that and start connecting with people, your wealth will actually manifest. So one of my last tips, Sarita, that what I want to share is that in this season, especially right now where the numbers are going up with COVID cases, they're probably going to be potentially putting us back on restrictions with certain things. This is a really good season to invest in your intellectual capital. Order great books, whether they be on audio, whether you download them as ebooks. Invest in your intellectual capital. I'm reading this book called, actually I'm listening because I don't really have a lot of luxury to put my feet up and read books at home. So I'm listening to a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. And the author is slipping me right now, but Sarita, you're really good with looking stuff up like in live time. But the Magic of Thinking Big. And one of the scenarios that came up was about being careful with the disease of traditionalism. I said, ooh, wait a minute now, you're really getting there. He said the disease of traditionalism. And what that basically means is that being willing to step out of the box so you can operate and live in purpose. So he shared a scenario where a young man that worked in the pharmaceutical industry ended up in some networking room. He was invited there. And this passage of the book, it was saying being very open-minded to connecting with people and getting at least knowledge in industries that you're not 100% aware of, but at least connecting and learning a little something. It may not apply to you ever, but it's never wrong with learning something new. So he goes to this meeting. He hears about farmland and real estate, and he's like, okay, fine, whatever. He doesn't end up investing with anybody in the room. However, after he leaves there, he ends up driving by farmland. Now, he knew that he wanted something bigger, so he just got in the room. Hope y'all feeling me with this. He leaves the meeting at whatever time difference from when he was at this particular function. He ends up driving by some available farmland, calls about the farmland, was able to purchase the farmland extremely cheap. If I'm mistaken, I think the book might have said like less than 20. So he was able to make that work, whether he did it cash or whether he financed it. He was able to grab this property of land. He then took some of the tips that he heard in this meeting, got the property surveyed, found out that he could divide the land up, I think, into about maybe 10 sections so somebody could actually build their own home. He soil tested. He did some additional reading and found out that people that were looking for land to actually buy to do new construction often like to do it where they see trees are being, grown. So he goes to a nursery and gets trees planted. And then he sold each one of those lots and more than doubled his money. And he never had to hit a piece of concrete, fill anything with cement. So fast forward, I'm out and about in PA, one of my favorite spots, secret spots. I won't share, but I will tell you that as I'm driving, what do I come across as I am like always trying to expand my knowledge and thinking about what's the next thing? A bunch of land, 57 acres. I said, what is that? A huge for sale sign. And I did call the number. It was like $2.2 million. Your girl ain't popping like that quite yet to drop that type of money. But the fact that because I was willing to learn something And then all of a sudden, it just started coming to me in different ways. I heard about it in a conversation with a sister of mine that's a broker, and then I saw it when I was driving. What I'm sharing is now I'm actually looking at land. Like, that's a part of my, New Year's thing. Like, start looking for land that we can afford, or we can get investors to support. So now we can do this same thing. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because as you read, your eyesight becomes different. When you walk into rooms, words end up popping for you differently because you were willing to invest in your intellectual capital. And if this guy can do it, who was working in pharmaceutical sales and didn't know a lick of real estate, I know that myself or somebody else can do it. So it may not be real estate for you. It may be something completely different. But in this season, I encourage you to please, as you are doing your no spend days, finding ways to, fund your emergency fund, put your savings on auto, also invest in your intellectual capital. Books can take you places that a plane could never.
That's a quotable. I hope somebody tweeted that. Books could take you places that a plane could never. Could never. And you better make sure you credit at The Real Joanna Jane on Instagram. And are you on Twitter as well? Is it at The Real Joanna Jane?
I get on Twitter. It's just too much.
Okay. All right. Well, just Instagram. That's fine. Instagram or Facebook. Make sure you give proper credit where it's due. But no, the phone lines are open, love. So if you have any questions or just feel like, you want to run something by us. I mean, she's a licensed financial professional. I'm just the one that's going to tell you whether it sounds like a great idea or not. If I'm being completely honest, I'm just be like, girl, don't do that. I mean, I'm not trying to stand in the way of your dream. I'm just saying, get that a little bit more thought. Think that through a little bit. But no, one thing I do when it comes to my clients is on the strategic planning side of things. And definitely when it comes to thinking about stakeholders, to thinking about how you can leverage what you have to get to where you're trying to go or to access what you need or desire. So yeah, feel free to call in and let's see what we can do. You definitely want to connect with Joanna Jane. So 215-634-8065. That is the number to call in, the hotline number, 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free, 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. Joanna, I want to check in at least, one of the things I've been seeing with this election and folks who are anticipating Biden-Harris, that administration coming in, there's talks around, taxes going up and y'all, we're not getting real deep into that, but just, the economy and even seeing today that the Dow went up for a bit, when that news dropped about the vaccine, the potential vaccine, and signs of that. There's been a few different fluctuations and whatnot that we're seeing. Is there anything in particular that you're keeping an eye on when it comes to this administration as far as being a licensed financial professional?
Oh, absolutely. I really want to see where we're going to be going in the medical industry when it comes to the vaccine. So no, I'm not giving any advice and telling people to buy into companies that are doing any of these trials and so forth. But I will say this may be a good time to check into your portfolio, whether, your 401k or even some of your individual stocks and consider, how much of it is in, in the medical industry and as well as in the financial industry. That was another industry that did pretty well today. So I would say really look at your allocations. This is also a great time of year to do some rebalancing. I always suggest, to my clients to go back and see where are you positioned. Is a lot of it in oil? There's a lot of it in tobacco? Like, where are you positioned? And exactly what you just said, because as we're changing hands of administration, his focus is going to be a lot different. From Trump, I couldn't even get the word out, I'm sorry, it's going to be different. And from the night that, President-elect Biden had his victory speech, he made it really clear that he was already starting off with identifying those that will be a part of his science task force pretty much. So again, when you hear buzzwords like this from the head, this is where you need to go back and start doing some of your homework. And I tell people this, even in real estate, when you're working backwards, like looking at what are some of the publications, what's coming out in the Business Journal, what's coming out on CNN and some of these other very much highly respected and seen, and really even a go-to for a lot of people when it comes to information, and then work your way backwards to say, okay, now where am I positioned at? And one of the things that I forgot to mention, and I know this might be slightly off from what your question was, but I hope that I did, answer you, is checking to see where you fall in your net worth and work your way backwards. When you do your rebalancing, this is a great time to write down all of your debts, write down your assets. When you do the formula, when you subtract your liabilities from your assets, it will tell you what your net worth is. If you're working with a licensed financial coach, if you're working with a financial advisor, they can do what they call an FNA, also known as a financial needs analysis. They'll tell you approximately how much money do you need saved or invested by X age, if this is the age that you're looking to retire. So if there's a wide gap in your net worth and your financial independence number, we sometimes call it, now you can start strategically planning and say, okay, well, I always wanted to be a writer. I want writing to be, 25% of my income or 5% of my income. Hey, I always wanted to have a apparel line, or I always wanted to get into real estate. Whatever that thing is for you, you want to be able to figure that out, working your numbers backwards. And I would really caution people, and I think more of us are open to this information now because a number of us unfortunately lost our income over this year. I really caution you on getting to that financial independence number with solely one income. Because we saw from this year, no matter whether you were making $50,000 or $500,000, if you were working for somebody else and they had to make a decision and you had to go, you had to go.
You were the line out of.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing that you can be doing as you transition into the new year. But yes, Sarita, those are some things that I would be looking into when we are talking about the administration changing hands and where the market is actually going to be leading.
Yeah, and rightly so. And Luz, if you didn't hear the news, the drug maker Pfizer, it's Pfizer, they announced today an early analysis of its coronavirus vaccine trial. And that has suggested their vaccine was effective in preventing COVID-19. And so the company is claiming that their vaccine, which was developed with the German drug maker BioNTech, the letter N, BioNTech, was more than 90% effective among trial volunteers who had no evidence of prior coronavirus infection. And so they released few details from the clinical trial. But the reality is that if the results are maintained, and that being according to the New York Times, that no serious safety concerns are observed, a 90% level of protection and effectiveness would be on par with childhood vaccines for diseases like the measles. Right. And so that's a big thing. So we keep an eye on it. I mean, I know the company execs over at Pfizer said that by the end of the year, they'll have manufactured enough doses to immunize 15 to 20 million people. And I think it's worth noting that the company reportedly did not take any federal money, aka the Trump administration, to help pay for research and development. And they did. I'm reading that they were intentional about doing that they were not looking to get caught up in the presidential elections and politics and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just saying, keep track of these names and these companies and what they're doing and how they're moving and what that means for, like Joanna Jane said, what you're doing with your money and your coins and how you invested them. So with that said, we got to get ready to let you go, but you brought us such great information today, Joanna Jane. Let folks know how they can connect with you and where they can find you at.
You can reach me at on all social media, Joanna Jane or The Real Joanna Jane. You'll be able to find me. If you would like to reach me directly, you can email our company, O'Hara Development Partners, at, info@oharadev.com. That's info@oharadev.com. This was great. Today I was just really on a high, and being here on Mondays are always great to be able to share whatever knowledge God has blessed me with to, either experience or just to learn. So thank you so much, Sarita, for allowing me to be a guest. Kayla J, thanks for always having the tunes rocking and allowed me to come through with a great intro, So I'll see you ladies next week and be safe.
All right, love, you do the same.
All right.
We are taking this quick break, y'all. Phone lines are open. Make sure you call in, join the conversation. When we come back on the other side, I'll bring you up to speed on some of the headlines. And, yeah, I want that check-in about this Biden-Harris election win and, whether you feel like it was a step in the right direction. Okay. And then also, I be out here in these social media streets, and I got this question under my post, when I was reflecting on the win. I'm going to share a little bit about that and how I responded to it, because it was addressed, or at least it was focused on my children and why they were, excited about this Biden-Harris win. And, had to enlighten some folks about what it was. So stay tuned. This is Safe Space. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita, and we'll be back after these messages.
At PICO, we know one thing is certain. Times have changed. From kitchen classrooms to couch conference calls, searching for a new job, or new ways to keep your family connected. These changes have become a part of our reality. That's why our teams are working 24/7 to meet the needs of our communities. So no matter how much things change, you can depend on PICO to be there with the energy and help you need to power through. Learn more at pico.com.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD.
Hi, this is Jeff Brown from Brown's Family ShopRites and Fresh Grocers. Are you thinking about a part-time job to help out with the cost of the holidays? We have plenty of openings. You can apply online at shoprite.com/careers or freshgrocer.com/careers. Come join the Brown family today and help us serve the people of Philadelphia. Have a great holiday.
Monday through Thursday, keep it locked to WURD Radio. At 6 a.m., start your day with the Power Hour, hosted by Bishop Dwayne Royster and Reverend Mark Kelly Tyler. At 7, it's Wake Up with WURD with Solomon Jones. At 10 a.m., it's Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Then at 1 p.m., it's The Source, hosted by Andrea Lawful Sanders on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and the Black Women's Leadership Council on Wednesdays. At 4 p.m., it's Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Then at 7, it's Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. At 9 p.m., round up your day with Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. Keep your dial locked to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app. Or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. WURD Radio. Independent Black Media. Save Space with Sincerely Sarita. Sincerely Sarita. Right now on WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
Where's your smile gone? 'Cause it don't shine no more. There's a light on, but you don't open the door. When you're ready, you can tell me what's wrong. I've had trouble and there's no hiding that. If you're struggling, let me know where you're at. Life is heavy and that road can be long. When the rain comes and the sky's falling down, darkest hour, when there's no one around, it won't be long. Keep your head strong. Hold on tight to me. Hold on tight. Hold on. When you feel like crying, go on, let it out. Just remember, the sun is shining behind the clouds. It won't be long till your pain's gone. Just hold on tight to me. Hold on tight, hold on. Times of worry can get the best of us, and I understand how you could lose your trust. Let me show you that here is where you belong.
You are back listening to Safe Space. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita. We are winding down, just about 5 minutes or so left. I was posting all weekend over on my Instagram page. I'm at Sincerely Sarita over there. That's SYREETA. Just about the election outcomes. I know there's still counting that's happening, but the AP, the Associated Press, officially called it on Saturday that the Biden-Harris ticket, that's the next administration coming in. And so first things first, I just feel like there's a few MVP recognitions that are due, right? First of all, Shirley Chisholm for paving the way for Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Of course, John Lewis and Elijah Cummings, whom Sophia Nelson mentioned earlier. And then, of course, the congressman dubbed the Kingmaker, Representative Jim Clyburn, who arguably single-handedly changed the course of and chances of success of the Biden-Harris ticket. And then there was Hillary Clinton for falling way back during the campaign trail, right? That was a smart move, sis. Stay out the way. She stayed out the way. She lay low. And I think that was a really, really smart move. And then, of course, Stacey Abrams for getting 800,000 Georgians registered to vote in the state. She's proven that a loss doesn't have to be a loss. It can be used as an opportunity to take what you learned and strategically fuel progress. And then, of course, volunteers, election workers, poll workers, community organizers, all those who selflessly helped preserve the democratic process, regardless of, whatever their party affiliation may be or their beliefs may be. They showed up and they worked around the clock to make sure that our democratic process continued in spite of all things that attempted to disrupt it. And Saturday was bittersweet, right? We collectively learned what the future of our nation is headed in, the direction that we're headed in with that. But that was also the same day that Walter Wallace Jr., right, the 27-year-old man killed by the Philadelphia Police Department during a mental health crisis on October 26, was laid to rest. And so we're sending love, light, and prayers of strength to the Wallace family as they continue to grieve the loss of his life. And, ask that you do the same. If you got any kind of kindness or empathy in your heart, just the way that entire situation played out, number one, was unnecessary, quite frankly, in my opinion. But number two, it's just tragic. It's tragic across the board. And so, yeah, just sending that love, light, and prayers of strength to them. But, and being in these social media streets and sharing a bit, about how our day went, right? Myself and my daughters, we weren't together at the time that we learned about the election results. And so they called me on FaceTime and they were super excited. And just, just the level of excitement that filled their bodies and just to hear the hope in their voice, it was absolutely priceless. And I shared a bit about that on social media. And someone ended up asking me, what did we win, though? What changes do we believe this will create? Did he promise those things? And I wasn't very clear about what exactly they were asking or which questions related to which parts of the post. And I asked for some additional insight. And so they responded, I wanted to understand what your daughters are excited about. Real question. Do they think change will happen with the change of guard? I'm trying to understand the excitement. Is it because Trump is out? Was it Kamala Harris's imagery? I really want to know what we think will be different. I truly am curious as the narrative we tell our youth about what's happening. And so with that additional context, I was very thankful for the question. In my response, I tried to be as thorough as possible, and I'll share a bit of that here, making it clear that I'm not speaking for them at all. I don't. My daughters were taught how to speak for themselves and use their voice. So I'm not speaking for them in this moment. I can only share what I've observed, and hopefully this helps. And so what I responded with was that they went from seeing a country ran by Obama to that same country ran by Trump. And there were very stark differences in imagery and messaging and discussions of problems and challenges and issues. And in the process of all of that, their coming of age experiences and their personal lives that seemed to shape the way in which they viewed the systems and the power of their voice, right, of having and using one's voice. And so having seen, and barely for my youngest, both presidents, and much like they view any other authority figure, they developed their own assessments and preferences for styles in leadership, examples that were set for young people in their age groups, and what it looks like to use your voice to say what you will and won't accept in leadership at that level or any level for that matter. And just FYI, in our household, leadership is an important characteristic. You know, that's an important topic here. We don't play about that. And so in response to that question of, you know, do they think change will happen? I can tell you that they've been taught change is bound to happen, right? It's bound to happen. The question is, what role will you play in it, and how will you work to help determine what that change will ultimately be and who it will benefit? And in response to that question of, is it because Trump was out? They've been taught that if you see a person's leadership isn't effective or does more harm than good, take the steps necessary, number one, to educate yourself, but to make sure your voice is properly heard and advocated for, and that folks are held accountable. Good character must always lead. And in response to that question about Kamala's imagery, was it her imagery? They're taught, yes, that representation is important, but even more important is a strategy, a consensus, and follow through in the ripple effect of the representation, right? Like, they see women in other positions of leadership. They've seen the matriarchs in their family in positions of power, but they've never seen that in the top leadership of this country. And I imagine that, yes, representation and imagery is very important. Is it the sole deciding factor, though? Should it be the sole deciding factor, though? No, I don't believe that. For children, I think, you know, different, quote unquote, as in what they think will be different as a result of this, these results, that requires us to look at things from their level and perspective. And in this case, again, that's 11 and 15-year-old. And so what is likely the difference that they see between the Trump administration and a Biden administration? And again, keeping in mind their lived daily reality and concerns, right? So that including the way that the pandemic is discussed and acted on, the kind of social media commentary on issues, the kind of leadership and character displayed by the president in press conferences and interviews, the way that issues are labeled, categorized, and prioritized as it relates to their community, the way that people who don't look like you look at you, address you, treat you, talk to you, etc. And so that's the context, at least, that I could try to help provide in terms of why they were excited, right, and what that could potentially mean for them. I encourage you to check in with the young people in your life to see how they feel about this win, to see what it means to them in the future, right, that they envision. What does this mean to them? What do they feel like it means for their future? It's a great conversation to have. And with that, we got to get ready to get out of here. I want to, again, thank each and every one of our guests for making today's show possible. Sophia Nelson, shout out to Chelsea Lowe of the Economy League of Greater Philadelphia, and of course, Joanna Jane for always bringing us a great coins of conversation with the tips, techniques, and tools that we need to prosper financially, right? And then shout out to my girl, Kayla J, always holding down the phone lines, the board, and everything in between. If you haven't already, follow WURD Radio across all platforms, at onWURD on Facebook, and at onWURD over on Instagram and YouTube. Check me out on IG and Facebook as well. I'm at Sincerely Sarita. Kayla J is at KALAJ_music nerd. We're right back here tomorrow, 7 to 9 p.m. for another edition of Save Space. Up next, though, is Keeping It Real with the Reverend Al Sharpton. So keep your dials locked to 96.1 FM, 900 AM. This is Sincerely Sarita, reminding you to taste your words before you feed them to someone else. And always, always, always empathize, empower, and evolve. Peace.
On nights like this, I ride, turn the music up to keep from crying.